To understand language attrition, we have to understand that it has to do necessarily with remembering, which it also has to do with three components: encoding, storage, and retrieval. Encoding means how we acquire information, and then storage means how we can keep that information inside our heads. But retrieval also means that we can access to that information whenever we have to use it. The problem is that these three components are different. Encoding remains intact. It's something intrinsic found in human mind. However, storage and retrieval don't. If we cannot keep information or access to it whenever we have to use it or we want to use it, then we have a problem and we have the possibility to start losing language, start losing words, start forgetting how to use certain phrases or verb tenses. This is talking about the cognitive processes that have to do when learning language or using it. However, there are psychological explanations that have to do with these cognitive processes, and we have to list them. First, we have repression and suppression, which implies, that information that was once encoded can be put in an effort by the user not to use it. And then we have distortion, how memory is constantly modifying memories to suit its capabilities, and sometimes it can result on false information or distorted information. Then we have interference, which implies that there is a constant competition between old and new information that impedes the correct use or acquisition of each. And then we have decay, which is summarized best with the rule that says, don't use it, lose it. Similarly, retrieval shutdown and failure means that the frequency in which something is remembered affects how easily the information can be retrieved. Then we have cue dependency. This is better explained with an example. If we have a non-native user of English or learner, that person is constantly in need to learn how to use certain words or phrases in certain contexts. And this can imply a process of forgetting how and when and who with to use these kind of elements, whilst the native speaker has this natural instinct or mode to use these elements that the non-native does not. Finally, we have interactions and dynamic systems. This means that the interaction of two or more languages intervenes with one another. So if a language has simpler tenses and is the second one that someone is learning, then it means it can imply that how well the speaker learns the language or knows it will affect necessarily the first one, thus making it possible that there are oversimplifications of the first language and thus making the use of the first language poorer. These are the factors that try to explain the language attrition and forgetting phenomena. As one can note, it is important for teachers to know this, because these factors affect the learner, and the work for teachers means that we have to keep in mind that these factors can affect how well our students are learning the language. And that's why we have to keep in mind that something may happen or something may not, thus planning best conversations, or simply by making them aware of these factors and also having ourselves aware of these factors, because it can happen, and it happens a lot, that we are unconscious of what is happening in our own learning.